there's the story, and I'm sure a number of you have heard it, but there were these two monks walking from one temple to the next, and they came across this stream, and they needed to cross the stream, and then there was a lady there, and she needed to cross the stream too, and she was like, "Oh no, how can I cross this stream? I have these high heels on, and my silks and everything, and how am I going to get across this stream?" So the older monk just picked her up and carried her across the stream and set her on the other side. And then the monks went on their way. And the younger monk was just brooding. He was hanging on to it. He was angry and stomping and just mad for the longest time. Finally, the older monk turned to him and said, "What's the problem? What's going on?" And he said, "You picked up that woman and you carried her across the stream, and we're celibates. We're Brahmarishis. We're monks. We're not supposed to even touch a woman. And look what you did." And the older monk looked at him. He said, "I carried that woman across the stream." He says, "You've been carrying her this whole time." You see? It's all the degree to which it penetrates and consumes your physiology. You see? But nevertheless, when you put a fold in the paper and you straighten out the paper, it's a fold. It's all bunched up. It's all creased up. That's all these impressions, all these conditionings, all these biases, all these feelings and torments. You take out the paper and you iron it, and now it's flat. There's no wrinkles in it. But nevertheless, even in that state where there's no more wrinkles in the paper, no more, it's just a perfectly flat piece of paper. You put pressure on the paper, where's it going to fold? Right along those same creases. You see? So in that regard, you're not going to change. You are who you are. You're going to keep doing the same stuff over and over. Put enough pressure and you're going to fold on those same wrinkles. And that's why I say the difference between you and me is you have your stuff and I have my stuff. The difference between you and me is you care and I don't. I get triggered, I get mad, whatever, and then I move on. They talk about that in the chit, the storehouse of impressions. Your mind is created out of chit. Something happens, it creates an impression and it influences the way you think, and you carry that, and everything else that comes in you see from that same angle because you've got these issues, this conditioning, these impressions. And as you evolve, in the early stages, the chit is like concrete. You've got all these impressions there, and no matter what anybody says, that's how you see life, that's how you relate to life. Never any flexibility, nothing. Just that's it. But as you evolve, the chit goes from stone, it goes to like clay. So if an impression comes in, it stays there for a while, but you can smooth it over. And then as you evolve further, it goes from clay to like a gelatin. So an impression happens, and then it just almost on its own melts back. And then it goes to water, and then to air. And they say, and that's what the Zen Buddhists talk about when they talk about the state of no mind. No chit. And then your thoughts don't come from a storehouse of impressions in your awareness that color the way you view everything, but they come from the divine. It's called the lila, the play, God's play. So that what you feel, when you feel it, how you play it out, it's not a function of chit. You have no mind. Or you could say it's a function of divine mind, cosmic play, play of God. Now, if your relationship with that is superficial, you would say, oh, that means that everything is always going to be rosy, and a person who has no chit is always going to just see everything sweet and lovely and never get angry. But that's not correct. God's play is much more profound than that, much more all-encompassing than that, much more exquisite than that. So if you have some little ivory castle you built up as your idealized notion to what you think you're going to be like when you get enlightened, you're in for a surprise. Because that ice cream castle, that crystalline castle that you've built as an idealized notion in your mind, is built of chit. You see?